So when is a pistol not a pistol? When it's this, and we're looking at it in this episode of Airsoftology Reviews. All right, move over MP5K. You just met your match. If you're an M4 fan, that is. We're looking at the M4 pistol from Classic Army, and yes, this is technically a pistol. So that's right, it is a pistol, but it is also a full-fledged AEG, so it's gonna probably fall under the AEG rules at your local field. But fear not, it has all the attributes of both. And actually, there's another option you can do to change this. We'll talk about that just a little bit later when we work through the externals first. So this being a Classic Army Pro line offering, you're gonna get all that metal body goodness that you're used to when you pick one of these up. You get this great little metal rail, but actually quite a bit of space, enough to put a pec box up here in the front or run a little lighter laser or something like that. You still have a decent amount of room. You also do get a stubby grip, which is nice, and it's actually contoured. It's kind of like fatter on one side, so it feels really nice in your hands. And for me, it doesn't feel that short either, which is kind of nice. It kind of balances everything out if you want to do some room clearing, which is what this pistol is made for. Moving on down the body, you get that full metal body, upper and lower receiver, metal dust cover, metal everything up in this area. Laser etch markings on both sides. Fire selector is on the left, so it's lefty like normal M4s. Mag release, all the good stuff you'd expect on a premium M4. Good comfortable polymer grip. In fact, I like this grip style a lot. It doesn't have that little notch like you'd find on standard M4 grips, which do dig into. I think for CQB, this grip lends itself very well because it's comfortable. You can kind of grab it high. If you are going to use it as a pistol, or if you're going to room clear, you can go a little low. If you have huge hands or small hands, it's actually comfortable all the way around. Across the top, you do get those flip up front metal sights you get on pretty much every premium Classic Army gun out there. Nice, they lock into place in the up position or down, windage and elevation, so you can dial these things in to get your BBs hitting that target just perfectly. And then on the end, you get a nice swivel sling, and I just love this. And I know the M4 purists out there are gonna go, Jonathan, is supposed to have a buffer tube on it. And you know, it would, because this gun wouldn't function without it. It doesn't have the right system. For the people who are like, well, it's not a real gun. But I really do like this little end cap. These are also incredibly hard to find if you're trying to turn your own gun into one of these, but just to have this as a backup, as a secondary. Have you been on that big sniper kick lately? Well, this is gonna be perfect for you to sling to your side when somebody gets within that minimum engagement of your sniper rifle. It's typically 100 feet at most fields, so now you can grab this and still have a firepower to keep them at bay and not feel like you're trying to switch to a little pistol with just 15 or 20 shots in it. You've got a 300 round high cap. In fact, you get two 300 round metal high caps in the box with this, so plenty to get you out in the field going. So you'll be able to really hold your own, whether this is your primary, your secondary, or just that last ditch backup for that sniper loadout. And rounding out externals, moving here to the front, the bottom of the rail is pretty neat. It's got 4 screws here on the side. When you take the screws out, and I've already done that, you remove this entire bottom piece. It kind of comes off the front, so it really doesn't just drop, you have to slide it off, so it really secures very well. This is where the battery goes, and they went with this nice big square piece. So by doing that, you actually have room to fit a real battery in here. You can fit like 3-part LiPo if you want to do an 11-1. You can get it in here. Now, like in all rails, it's going to take a little bit of work. You got to kind of put the one on one side, one on the other, but you're not having to deal with a really tight normal rail space. By having this extra bit in here, this allows you to put a bigger battery, a real battery in here, and not have to run a pec box on the side, which I love. I mean, I like pec boxes, but I like my pec boxes to have functionality like lasers and lights to them, and I really don't want to give up that rail space for something just to hang my battery off of. So by doing this, it really does solve that problem, keeping that battery internally, which I like, and let me still use those rails for all those accessories. Moving internally, remember this is the premium offering from Classic Army, so you're going to get all the bells and whistles. You're going to get those wire cut steel gears, you're going to get 9mm bearing bushings, you're going to get that silver strand wiring. What you won't get on this one, the only difference is, and I think they might have done that because of the space up here in the front, is you aren't going to get that MOSFET that's Dean's wired with the Tamiya adapter. You get that normal Tamiya adapter on here, which is what pretty much most guns have been for pretty much ever now. But yeah, you're not going to get that feature. But the trade-off is the price point. You still get all of the other stuff, everything, including the quick change springs. So if you want to tune this thing up or down, you can do it very easily, not have to crack that mech box open. While the MOSFET would have been nice to have, by not having it, it brings that price way down to make this thing affordable as a secondary gun, but a premium one, or a good little primary if you guys are playing tons of that CQB or even that speed QB that's pretty popular these days. Taking the same to the CHRONO, we tested with 2 different batteries. We'll start with semi first. Feet per second was right around that 350 mark, a hair over. But so those of you that are concerned about CQB, I wouldn't be, because this spring's gonna break in a little bit as you use it. You're gonna see usually a 5, maybe a 7 feet per second drop over time, sometimes a hair more. I'd say with this shorter barrel, the 603 Type bore in here, you're probably gonna see a little bit of a drop, a little less than you'd see on a longer gun. But that means it's gonna probably settle into under that 350, so you'll be good to go pretty much in any field in the US and probably overseas as well, at least in most countries. Also, rate of fire on a 7.4 LiPo, which is going to be pretty easy to fit in this front rail, you're seeing a nice mid-teens number, which is a good BBs down range. I mean, that's actually pretty darn decent. If you need more, you can jump to that 11.1, and we saw the rate of fire jump up right to that 20 mark. So you do have options, and don't think that having that 7.4, you don't have that zippy response. It's still zippy in 7.4. You get those snapshots, and the trigger felt pretty darn crisp. And if the pistol isn't your thing, and if you made it this far in this review, I'm pretty sure it is, I want to show you something else. They're also doing an optional kit. Now, it's at select retailers. You kind of have to look around to find these, but it's part of a kind of a mini CQB pistol rifle kit they're doing. I know it's a real technical name, right? But you get this very short buffer tube here and a shortened stock. So it's not your standard length buffer tube or a standard length stock. So it still gives you that nice tight CQB-ness. You don't lose the compactness of the pistol, but it allows you to have a buffer tube and a little stock if that's your thing, if you enjoy having that on there. And as part of the kit, you can always swap it back out for that swivel sling when it's time to use this as a secondary for your sniper rifle or just as a pistol on the battlefield. So if you've been looking for that perfect secondary or that great little tiny primary to hose the guys down on the battlefield and hopefully keep some of those Polar Star guys at bay, I'm not bagging on any Polar Star guys, I promise. Take a look at the M4 pistol from Classic Army. Price around, like I said, around that 250 mark. So again, it is a premium offering for such a little gun, but it does quite a bit for what it is. And of course, as always, we'll have a link in the description below so you can learn more about it. As always, thanks for tuning in. If you're not currently a subscriber, click on the logo on the bottom right or in the description and you'll always be in the know. Plus, if you like what you saw in this video and want to learn more, I've got a link down there as well. And if you haven't had your airsoft fixed just yet, click on the videos on the right or use the info button at the top of the screen for more. And as the saying goes, everyone has an opinion, and I do want to hear yours. So give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down on this video, comment, and share.